Hey, you know who it is. It's Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia, and we are presenting you with a segment entitled Balancing Towards Success. And as you can see, we're in our virtual studio today, and we have a special guest. I know you see her on the screen. You've seen her on the show before. We did numerous different type of segments. So don't act like you don't know. This is a person that I definitely admire greatly, specifically for her dedication toward her craft and how she tries to keep the community involved, try to always looks at the big picture, always working toward her growth, try to working toward her goal, try to better her craft and working towards succeeding. And I feel like I'm in the same way as well. We all need encouragement and inspiration from times, and she definitely defines that. But she's also the proud author, as I have a couple of examples here, and you probably notice it in the background of her. We got Mommy Doesn't Look Sick, also Holiday Cookies. She's also the author of For the Dogs and also my first storybook, and also founded the Central Jersey Book Festival in Woodbridge that I happen to be a part of, that I'm going to be a part of this year as well. So give it up for Miss Jae Logan. Jay, how we doing today?
We're doing awesome. And I think that you should always introduce me every time I walk into a room because that was very lovely. Thank you.
I mean, what I was thinking is after we do this segment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the studio and make like a recording, and then I'm gonna send it to you, and then you can play it off your phone everywhere you go. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like
ready
as soon
for
as you
it.
put the
I'm
first
ready for
step
it.
in, just click play, bam, let everybody hear that. I know I would like that.
Yes.
But then again, I ain't all with the spotlight either, man. I like to stay in the background. But anywho, I appreciate you being taking time out. I know I describe you like a lot of other people. You're like an octopus. You got your hands in a lot of different things. You're always on the go, always working on something. So I appreciate the time that you're taking out to talk about this. This is definitely something that I have talked with in my time with networking and just interacting with different people. You'd be surprised how many people out there that they're balancing two lives in the sense of having a day job, but also they're working toward their artistry, they're working toward their business, their entrepreneurship. So for your viewers out here, we have done this segment before, but for those who are new to this, what we're going to be doing today is discussing how an individual can balance their time, their commitment, and their professionalism between their employment, their artistry, and their business with the ultimate goal in mind of becoming successful. So definitely, we all have goals that we're trying to accomplish. We have dreams that we're trying to fulfill. But it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of sacrifice within yourself in order to maximize your potential and put yourself in position where you can thrive. So when we're talking about balancing towards success and you're balancing these two entities, we can't overlook the fact that part of the equation is managing the daily pressures of your employment versus remaining focused on your business and your artistry. So, Jay, what factors should a person consider when deciding, when they're making that decision about pursuing other endeavors while maintaining their status at their day job?
So I would say the very first thing to consider is, are you happy at your day job? Is this something that you can see yourself staying at until you retire? Because if it is, I highly recommend that whatever else you want to take on, you focus on your day job. You give your day job the respect it deserves, because if you don't, then you won't have it, right? But if you're a person who is, working so that you can afford to pay your bills, but you're not whistling while you work, or you're not excited about your commute anymore and you want to start other channels, then I would say definitely continue to pay respect to the job, but now maybe you're, as soon as you make sure you get your hours in, you get your work done, but don't stay later than that. Get home and get working on what it is that your passion is, because that's going to help you. So it's really about priorities. Where do you want to focus your energy? What do you want to see yourself doing in 5 years? And then looking at exactly what has to be done to make you successful in the one that you're most focused on, and making sure that you stick to that plan. So I know you and I talk a lot off camera, but it's kind of like when people say, oh, if you go to some social media and you post this every day, then people are going to follow you and they'll buy your books or whatever. And that is a good plan for some vendors. It's not a good plan for all vendors, right? So you have to find out what industry you're doing. So I do children's books right now. I'm going to hopefully very soon have a picture book for adults, and it's not going to be like those crazy perverted ones, but it is going to be a funny, lighthearted, wonderful book. And so I love the book. I love that project. I also love paying mortgage. And I know that working on these books on the side has yet to make a mortgage payment. I'm not saying they won't ever. And I do try. I put myself in front of many audiences at different street fairs. I have conversations with strangers in stores. Now, I hate speaking to strangers. I hate having random conversations. It's just awkward. I'm a writer. Leave me behind my keyboard. I can say wonderful things to you through my typing, but I have to get out of my comfort zone. And, I was hanging out in a bookstore and I saw a family looking at books, and I just wandered over because I saw what types of books they were looking at, and I was, heard a little of their conversation. And I walked over, introduced myself, gave them my business card, said, if you're ever looking and want to try something different, feel free to check out my books. And they love that. And I've done that at a restaurant, I've done it in a store, and always awkward. I'm sweating profusely as I do it. I'm like holding my business card. Should I, shouldn't I? But I do it because I passionately believe in the message of my books, and I want that to get out there. But I don't think that that's what's going to make me a billionaire and living in a, you know, fancy house with a huge swimming pool in the backyard. I want the message out there. And so that's why I keep pushing that. And I push that all the time, even when I'm not in my comfort zone. And the day job, which currently I am in between day jobs, is the focus for my lifestyle. I want to pay the mortgage, the kids are going to college. There's just so many things coming up, and that is going to sustain me. So I give my day job, even now as I'm between, I spend a lot of time searching for jobs, networking with people, focused on that. That's my number one. People think, oh, you're unemployed at the moment, you should be pushing out 20 books a day. No, one, that's too much, because that means you're not giving any book the patience and the time it deserves. You're just pushing stuff out. So find your passion, focus on it, always make sure that you can pay your bills. Focus on what keeps you fed until you can transition to what makes you happy.
Really good points. And I'm gonna take it a step further. For you guys out there, I use this expression a lot: two ends of a spectrum. So for the one end of the spectrum, sometimes you will look at it like, yes, you have a day job. Like you said, you gotta do what you have to do to take care of your family. That's first and foremost, right? But then maybe circumstances might change for you, right? When it comes to the your day job, when it gets to the point like maybe they're giving you more responsibilities, maybe your status is starting to be elevated, maybe you are getting more money, you're getting a nice little bonus, maybe a raise, and now you're starting to think a little bit different. Whereas like, well, should I divert or dedicate enough energy toward this, my business, my artistry, or should I just put everything I have into my day job since it seems like it's going a little bit better, right? And then the other end of the spectrum would be where you're putting so much into your artistry and your business that you start neglecting other things that are important, namely like your family, maybe your mental health, That was a big topic that I discussed in my last video about how people tend to even overlook that and chalk it up to something else, something that they could just deal with and just place that unnecessary burden on their shoulders. So sometimes for you guys out there, you got to be careful because yes, maybe your day job is paying you more or your status is being elevated, but is that truly what you want to do? Like if you have a skill set, you have an idea, you owe it to yourself to pursue that. Just see where that comes from that, you know? And believe it or not, if that opportunity comes to you, it might blow out whatever your day job can offer you.
Right.
But also at the same time, you also have to keep in mind that you have a family, you have to take care of yourself. If you're not good within yourself, then you're not good, period, for anyone else. And then if you have some type of things going on within your family, again, you and concerns, you have to pay attention to that. You got to see them signs and take care of what he needs to be taken care of. You got to make sure that your foundation is grounded. And I'm a firm believer family is that foundation.
Absolutely. And
So,
not and just to add to your point, not just your mental health can be neglected, but your physical as well. When I'm extremely busy at work in my day job and forget day job, night job, think of your entire day, right? I live three lives. So working during the day can get extremely hectic. There can be special projects, there can be regulatory items that you need to respond to. Then you come home from work, it's family time. If you're not the person that makes dinner, maybe you're the one that does the pickups, maybe you're the one that helps with homework, whatever it is, there's family time. And you have to give your family that time. And I've read a book once, and kind of one of the opening lines was, "Berry season is short," and that is talking about the children. Think of your children. Yes, they're 2 years old now, and you have 16 years until they're 18. But those 16 years fly by. And if you don't take the time to appreciate them and enjoy them when they're 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and yes, even when they're a teenager and they are maybe not emotionally compatible with anybody in the house, you still give them the love and attention. Luckily, my 15-year-old still likes me, so I feel very blessed. She and I bond over television shows. So we make time to sit with each other and hang out. When she goes to bed is now my opportunity to have my third hat, which is if I want to focus on the books, if I have editing to do, or if I want to do some social media posting. Because as much as I love my books and as much as I want my message to go out, because my priorities are my day job and my children, sometimes I don't touch books for a month and I feel bad. And if you look at any piece of paper I carry with me in my bag, you will see notes jotted or book ideas jotted, but they never make it to the computer for a few weeks because I have made my priorities. And like I said, I'm always out there trying to sell them, and I always look for events that are coming up, and I sign up for events, or just like my brainchild of the Woodbridge Books event. I went to the Woodbridge Metro Chamber of Commerce and said, "Listen, I would really love to do this event. I think it's a great idea for independent authors. Can you support me?" And they had zero problems supporting me. And every year, they are the ones that post the application online. They take all of them in. They come to me. They're like, "All right, this is how many authors we have." So I do put work into that as well, but I could definitely have never done it successfully without them. And every year, the amount of authors grows. This year, when we kicked it off, within a month, we had over 50 authors signed up to come to the Central Jersey Book Festival. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, that's amazing. So, put your passion where you want it to be the most. But I would honestly say never neglect your physical, your emotional health, and that of your families, because you are an important member of your family. Give them the time that they deserve.
excellent point. And just to add one more thing that I would suggest is that make the most of your time. And what I mean by that is, I know for myself, just speaking for myself, like even on my breaks at work, I could take the time out, of course, and I don't do this every day. There are moments where it gets a little hectic at the job. So it's like I just need this break to kind of get myself together, get my thoughts back together. But a lot of times I'm working towards something. Like I'm currently working on a book. So I'm jotting down some more stuff, just some more ideas for the book. Or I'm checking with the team with the emails. Hey, how are we going with this project? What's going on with this? You know what I mean? Like I'm always engaged. So that's part of like the sacrifice part is unfortunately, again, don't overlook your mental health, your emotional health, like what Jay's saying, but also too, make the most of your time as well. If you have the energy and you have this like brief moment and an idea comes to you, go ahead and write it down or do something with it just to lay the foundation for you later. You don't have to have A through Z and figure out everything that you want to go, what you're going to do pertaining with that. You can always come back to it, but at least you got it started. You know, you're
Right.
in the motion of things.
Because the
Like stay in
biggest
the
lie you
flow.
will ever tell yourself is, I'll remember this later.
Yeah. And I used to pride myself on great memory. Like I had a pretty good memory, man. But the older I get, it's just like, nah, I write everything down. If I can't write it, I have the notepad app on the phone. I'm just squirreling away on there, just jotting down some stuff.
Oh, I usually text
Doesn't
my
make you less
husband or
of a
my
person.
daughter random thoughts, and they reply, "What is this?" I'm like, "Ask me later."
Yeah, I do that a lot. So this is a great segue, Jay, to talk about how we were talking about different factors that you need to consider between handling your day job, the professionalism that comes with that, along with you trying to be engaged and work towards your business and your artistry. But a big component with that is about goals and how to maintain them. So, Jay, how can someone create and maintain realistic goals between the two entities? And how important is it for one to understand their limitations along with their strengths?
So I don't take it as goals, right? I take it as to-do list, because
Okay.
if I were to write my goal, I would say it would be to write, which I have started, but I have nowhere near finishing, but to write my young adult science fiction novel. That's my goal. And that when I publish that book, to meet Dean Koontz and him tell me he loved it. He is my favorite author. That's a goal, right? I agree. Maybe not realistic. I don't think he's going to show up and tell me he read my book and tell me he loved it. Maybe he will one day, who knows. But I, I that's why I look at it more as to-do list. So if my goal is to post more on the internet, then I have my to-do list, right? What am I posting? When am I posting it? How do I want to post it? Or if I want to go to more events, then I have to make time to review Central Jersey events, South Jersey events, North Jersey events, look at the cost of them, try to do a little research on them. Have people actually made money on them? Do I know any authors who've been successful at them? And, once you publish a book and you go to, I would say, 2 or 3 book events, so many independent authors and they are amazing. And I think of us as a very close community that's here to support each other. And I have always opened my door to them, offered them any knowledge that I have or contacts that I have, because why not, right? We're all in this game together. Let's win it together. So I would say, right along with the first answer, focus on what your priority is. Is your priority to go up one level in your day job? Then that's your goal. And so you're going to sit down with your manager and you're going to say, what is it that I need to achieve to get this promotion, which I have done in my day job and it has worked. And they are, some managers are amazing and super specific. Like, you need to accomplish these 5 things and I will put you in for the next level. Done. Now I know what my year looks like. I'm going to do these 5 things. I'm going to do the best I can at them. And we're going to discuss my promotion. And I would speak to them monthly. This is where I'm at. This is where I hope to be. This is, what the goal is. And it worked. For the books, I would love to have more time for it. And I know it's insane to say that while I'm currently unemployed. But because my main goal is to get another day job that comfortably fits my lifestyle, then I'm not pushing out books. But I have ideas, and I write them down, and the one book that is going to come out for adults, it'll probably be out, looking at the calendar, the latest by June, because I have created this very decent plan, step by step, of how I'm going to get it done, edited, and printed for the summer events that I'm doing. So that's set, and it's set in a realistic way, so that it doesn't interfere with my job hunting, any possible interviews, any networking events that I attend that can help me secure my next role. And so again, it's about picking what your priority is and then working around that. Like I said, mine is the job, so that comes first. This other list that I have comes after I've done looking at roles for the day and applying, after I'm done, being a chauffeur for my child who has is on track, and choir, and the school newspaper, and I don't think there's a club she hasn't joined. So while I'm home, I am her personal Uber, and then I focus on the book.
And I think that's great. And I think I'm glad you brought that up. I hope your viewers really checked in on that. The fact that your concentration now is just to take care of your household. And I know some people get a little bit anxious because it's like, I got so many ideas and I want to work on these. I know it's going to work for me. They want to see the results that come from the work. They want everything kind of like fast paced. And unfortunately, the way life is built, you just don't have that luxury. Sometimes you just have to take time to concentrate on the one thing before you move on. And that also kind of goes with the part of being like realistic and understanding your strengths and your limitations is just you yourself. Like nobody knows yourself better than yourself. So the fact that some people might go into a situation and they're placing so many different things, because like we were talking about earlier, how I described you, you're like an octopus, got your hands all over the place, but you might be good at multitasking. You might be able to like, okay, I do have a few things to work on, but you know how to pace yourself properly. There's some people out there that can't, and they get a little bit ahead of themselves to the point where they feel like they can handle all these things, and then they get into the point where they're going down that rabbit hole and don't know how to climb their way out. And now they're frustrated, they're mad, they're angry. They have all like these negative emotions where it gets to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm fed up with everything. I don't want to do it no more. And then it's a shame because you might actually have a very viable idea that might work out for you, but you'll never know because you became your own worst monster. You didn't schedule things right. You didn't prioritize things properly so that everything can be handled accordingly. So just keep that in mind for you guys out there who are in the same situation like me and Jay, where it's like the importance of strategizing, besides understanding yourself and knowing what you can handle, what you can't handle, but strategizing, planning, scheduling, these are all very important factors that you can't overlook. Otherwise, you're just going to be swarmed with a bunch of different things. And then you get into this little rut where it's just like, you know what? Maybe this ain't for me.
Right. And you have to also, and just touching on the strengths portion, you do have to know your strengths. I know that 15 years ago, I was on top of everything. I could have 12 balls juggling in the air at the same time and not miss a single one, and it'd be wonderful. And I am not that age anymore. And things don't come as easily as they used to. And
Yeah,
you
you
have to
ain't
be
lying about
patient
that.
with yourself, right? You have to forgive yourself and give yourself an opportunity to be the way you are now, not the way you were 20 years ago, not expecting that you can accomplish everything. I know that I cannot type a book up while cooking dinner and picking up my daughter. It's just not possible. But I know that I always have paper and pen near me, and no matter what I'm doing, if my daughter's practice is running late and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh yes, I want to write about that. I like this topic for that book, right? So I have probably on my desk right now 75 pieces of scrap paper, just with all sorts of things on them. And every once in a while, I'll pick one up and I'll look at it and say, oh, okay, let's when am I going to do this? When do I have time to do this? Is this a now item or is this a tomorrow item? And that's how I do it. And it works for me. It doesn't get 20 books published in a month, but that's okay. I don't have 20,000 followers that the second I publish a book, it's going to be super successful. So I don't feel the pressure to have to do that. I don't have a publisher that's knocking on my door saying, "Hey, where's my book?" So again, I don't feel that pressure. And while I know that some people do love the traditional route, I'm not a fan of it. For one, I want to control the images in my children's books. And so I know that means more work for me on my end. I want to own what happens with my story and have 100% say in it. And so that means not going that route. But for those that go that route, yes, your day might be easier, but you'll have someone else to answer to now because they will be knocking on your door saying, "Where's my book? And when is the next book?" And if you were lucky enough, and there aren't many, but if you are fortunate enough to get an advance, they're going to knock on your door twice as much because they gave you money, they've invested in you, they want their stuff. And for me, I was realistic and said, I want to do this, but I need to know that I can do it at my schedule, at my time, when I feel that I'm ready to launch another book, I will, and not when someone tells me.
Really good points. I hope you viewers took that in. Just as a side note, Jay, I think you could pull it off. I think you could be cooking and type up the book at the
But
same
not
time. I think
driving a
you could
car.
pull it off.
So
Out of a lot, I know a lot of people, man. And I think you're one of them people that could probably pull that off. I think you got that special talent, that low key talent right there. I'd be surprised if you do pull it off. You need to take a video of that and post that. That would be
well, I will tell you, one year my dad went to go meet my mom for Valentine's Day and he bought dinner for them. So he had it in aluminum foil on top of the engine so that when he went to go get her, it would still be warm. And so they had this
wow.
adorable romantic dinner in the car, which I have never forgotten the story and I wasn't even there that day, but I just thought that was absolutely beautiful. So maybe I could cook and drive, but certainly not type and drive. That's not safe.
That right there is ingenuity at its finest. That's something I wouldn't even think
Absolutely.
about doing. So that's pretty awesome. But Jay, now we got to the point where we talked about things that people need to consider between the two entities, the day job and their artistry, right? And now we talked about how a person can create and maintain realistic goals between the two entities, right? So now another layer to this is this may not be for everybody. I know for some people who have a day job, they might have what is quote unquote a side hustle, just something to do, just to put a few extra bucks in their pocket. Maybe they're working towards something, maybe renovating their house, taking their family on vacation, or just something for them personally, which is all fine, right? But I would think for most people who are starting an artistry, they're getting very involved with that, or they're trying to start a business along with working with their day job, is that they want to make their business and their artistry their
Of
new day
course.
job. I know that's for me personally. I'm working toward trying to make Olympian so that if I do have to wake up in the morning, it's going to be for Olympian and not the company that I'm going to each and every
Right.
morning, right? So, Jay, how can a person develop a strategy that can work for them so that they can make this transition more fluently?
I would say they need to speak to a lot of people who have done it successfully first, right? You're not going to wake up and your side
Mm,
hustle is your day job. You need to network and you need to find people that are in that business. I'm part of several networking groups in central New Jersey, and I meet people from all walks of life. So many small business owners that are amazing. Some are struggling, some are just beyond successful, and every single one of them will help. They will answer questions, they will share vendors, they will share, any advice that they have, negotiation tactics. And so I think a strategy can be developed. I think it's a several step process, right? you want to know what that looks like. You want to know it from humans. You definitely want to speak to humans. I know AI has the answer for everything, whatever. But humans who have lived and walked these paths are going to help you, and they're amazing. But you do need to do some internet research as well. Ask AI, right? I want to open up a bakery and I want to be successful at it. Tell me what I need to consider in opening a bakery. And it will tell you what licenses you need. It'll tell you about the statistics of the location that you want to have it in, or if you're going to have a home kitchen, what your home kitchen needs to be ready for in order to be tested by inspectors, right? It's going to tell you about different wholesalers that you can go to, and it's all super useful information. So you need to combine it, because yes, AI can give you a checklist, but a human can tell you outside of that checklist what else gets thrown at you. And I think that there's value in that. And go in, and if, let's say it is a bakery, I'm going to keep with that goal. Let's say it's a bakery, you go to a bunch of bakeries and talk to the owners there, right? You join a networking group, talk to people there who own different kind of food stores. there's just there's just a wealth of information out there. I have a friend who owns an ice cream store, and I think this is year 5 for her. I'm not sure, don't quote me, but she tries out every freaking ice cream store that opens up in entire central Jersey. And if she's on vacation somewhere, she'll go to that ice cream place too. And she wants to keep up with the industry. She's looking at videos all day long on TikTok when she has a moment, to see if there's a video out there that, kind of covers ice cream, and what that looks like and what kind of response it's getting. So there's so many different things that you can do. You've got to look at it from that. You have to be realistic. Make lists. Always, always, always make lists. Make them however you want. If you have OCD, they have to be typed. Type them. If you're like me and you just like, oh my God, I found the piece of an envelope. Let me write this. The other day, I wrote a phone number on my arm because I had no paper. I was at the beach. So, whatever it looks like to you, do it. Make your list, make your checklist, focus on what your goal is, respect your day job until you're ready to quit it. And you might not be ready to quit it for several months. You may have an open bakery and still have to work for a little bit, and that's okay. You want to do it right. You want to do it so that when you open, you stay open, and that is your happily ever after.
Really good point. And we can't underestimate the value of, again, I'm glad you brought it up about like doing your market research and getting an understanding of trends, getting an
Mhm.
understanding of your customer base, and what exactly, how you can go about navigating yourself as far as like marketing yourself and promoting yourself, so that you get the attention that you need, so that you can elevate your brand as an artist or as an entrepreneur. That goes without saying. But also too, I think it's important too when you're developing the strategy, it has to kind of be you, like your imprint needs to be involved with that strategy. Uh you as a person, your personality. What I mean by that is sometimes we get caught up with looking at these trends and looking at what other people are doing, and you see that they're having a measure of success and they're moving in the direction that you want to go into, and you think that's best for you, when in actuality it's not. I think you mentioned it earlier. Just because one person does one thing doesn't mean it's going to work for you either. So that's why you got to stick to like your identity. It's not to say that you. I think it's a great point what you made. Definitely network with people, talk with people who's been in a similar situation and has a measure of success. They're going to let you know the pros and the cons. They're going to let you know the highs they had along with the lows. That's great. And but also too, don't get so caught up with like when you're seeing these different trends and then you sell yourself short because just for the sake of putting yourself out there, right? Or you put unnecessary expectations on yourself where you're like, wait a minute, man. I see Jay over here, man. She's putting out like 2, 3 books a year. Man, I gotta step my game up. But in actuality, I don't really have it like that to be putting out 2 or 3 books. I don't have the time. So now I'm rushing just to put something together,
Yep.
put some content out there, and it just ain't really good. It's not good at all. You go through a couple pages and you're like, I can't even expect nobody else to buy this book. I can't even get through it, let alone, the first 2 or 3 pages. Don't sell yourself short. If you have to take that extra time to get yourself together so that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, do that. There's no time restraint
Right.
on all this stuff that we're doing. And some people feel that way, like, I gotta get something out by this time. No, you don't. It's just a mind trick thing. Or you're allowing yourself to be influenced by other people. Never mind what other people are doing. Concentrate on yourself and go accordingly to plan. If you have a plan in
Right.
place, stick
It's
with it. I'm not saying you can't make changes here and there, but stick to your plan.
absolutely, and it is absolutely not a sprint, it's a marathon in anything you want to do. So there is no need to rush. Even if you speak to a person who owns a bakery, you want to open a bakery, they're going to help you, they're going to give you information. It's not a competition over who makes the best cruller, right? It's, this is what I want. And when you say about story is so true, because right now, so many industries, so many different people, small, big, whatever, are selling their merchandise by telling their story. And that's how sometimes I make sales at the table, by explaining why I wrote my first book, because I was diagnosed with a very rare liver disease when my children were very young, and I had to learn how to, raise the children in a different way. I initially had to say goodbye to them, but I luckily am still here. But I had to raise them in a way where they knew I was ill, but it's not an illness that shows, right? I'm not. I don't have anything broken. I'm not in a wheelchair. I can see. It's explaining to them that it, for me, it looks different. Sometimes it's pain, sometimes it's exhaustion, whatever it is. And you share your story. That's why I wrote that book. And I have always loved writing since I was a child. So that's why I write more books. And beyond that, looking at COVID, I felt like the world, after about 6 months of the whole pandemic, started to lose its empathy and started to just, it was becoming uglier than the world I wanted it to be. And so I decided that I wanted to put more beautiful stories out there and teach children and families how to love each other and how to love the world and to embrace our differences instead of fight against them. And that's why I continue to write stories. And the book that I mentioned earlier that I'm writing is for adults, is about the fact that my husband and I are married this Monday 25 years. And so to me, it's,
Congratulations.
thank you, it's kind of a humorous story with advice on how to stick around this long. And I, one of the kind of examples is like, tell your spouse that their butt looks big in those pants, and other successful ways to stay married. And the reason why you tell them that their butt looks big is because you love them enough to make sure that when they leave the house they look good at all times, that they feel comfortable and confident and they look their best. And that is the job of the person that you're going to share your life with, to make sure that you are always at your best. So stuff like that. But yeah, I think they just have to be true to themselves, tell their story in everything they do, be prepared to share it 6 million times. And maybe then you would have told it about as half as many times as I have told my story.
I think that's a good point. Again, for your viewers, I hope you tapped in on that. Don't be afraid to share experiences. Open up. I know with me personally, I'm an open book. So I kind of live my life like, don't ask the question if you don't want the answer, because I'm going to give it to you. And I don't have a problem talking about like different things that I went through. It's all about paying it forward. What my experiences might help you out because you're having difficulty dealing with a certain thing. And because I went through it and I found a way out of it, that might help you out and allow you to have a better perspective and clarity on
Right.
your life or whatever it is that you're going through. So you'd be surprised. You might get in that mindset a lot where you think it's only you going through these certain things. And believe it or not, when you start opening your mouth and you start interacting, you start talking with some people, you start realizing a lot of people are in the same predicament as you. You know,
Yep.
so just look at it as a moment where you can help each other out and build each other up. You know? So this is a perfect segue to go to our last thought. Another layer, as it were, when it comes to this that we can't overlook is the fact that nobody is immune to the everyday struggles. There's just so many things that come up. We can't predict for certain things to come. Obviously, you will love everything to be perfect and it goes this way, and there's no obstacles, roadblocks, nothing else comes. But unforeseen occurrences happen to us all the time, whether it's at the job itself, within our family. Maybe you are working toward that right direction as far as your business and your artistry, and then poof, something comes up that throws you off track. So, Jay, how can one avoid transitioning the stress associated with a day job into their personal endeavors?
So this one, it kind of hits home for me, and I want to tell people just don't do it. Don't don't bring the stress, because I had a job, and not the one I just left. The one I just left I loved, just in case anybody's looking at this, the timestamp of this video. I absolutely love them. And there was one previously that the manager was borderline abusive, right? There were HR cases opened by their manager. There were so many issues. There were times that I cried at home at work, or I would disappear from the floor and just go cry and try to find my peace. And it affected me so bad. I went into a depression. I didn't want to do anything. The second I got home from work, I just wanted to lay down and go to sleep and just forget the world. It affected everything. It affected my family. It affected my physical health, my mental health, my emotional health. It affected my writing because I didn't have the drive to do it anymore. And so to get through that, I had to learn to just let it go. And meaning that at the end of my workday, I literally stopped caring about the job. That's it. I did my work. My day is ended. I am ready to move on to the next part of my life. And I was there for a little bit over 2 years, and it was hard to do in the beginning, but I found that the more I did it and the more I found things to do with my time, the second I left there, the better I started to feel. And eventually, when I left that job, initially, again, it was just like this whole I had to leave a job because of the insanity that was going on. And again, depressed. When I found the next role a couple of weeks later, I will not say that in the beginning was not a little challenging. It was, but because I had just come from this very unhealthy environment and I had taught myself to just let it go at the end of the day, it made it easier for me to do that. So go to your day job, spend your time at your day job being as productive as you can be, do your work, go home, leave it there. That's it. Now you're on the train or you're driving or whatever. Either way, I always listen to music very loud and sing all the time. And no, I will not sing for you, Zeus. But I would get home and now I'm ready for my family. And the second they go to bed, then I shut that down and I move on to my next task. And just the goal of trying not to carry it with you, it's so tough. I understand what I just asked of you people, but as tough as it is, you need to do it. That's it. You get off work at 5, your stress for your job ends at 5, unless you're a CEO and then they'll call you 24 hours a day and your stress level is probably something very different that I've ever seen in my life. So let it go.
Good point. I know with me, the biggest obstacle for me is that each and every day that I go to my job, and again, my day job, I don't have a bad job per se. You know what I mean? But it's just hard to go in and clock in and go about your daily duties because it's not truly where I want to be.
Of course.
So constantly doing as I'm working, I'm constantly thinking about Olympian. I'm constantly, besides, you always worry about the family, but I'm always thinking about Olympian. I'm always thinking about my team. Are they good? Do they have everything that they need to do whatever it is they're tasked for? When are we going to get to this project? Because it's been sitting here for I don't know how long, collecting dust. Are we ever going to get to that? My books. I'm I'm trying for the first time ever writing an actual novel, a full-fledged novel. It's tough. So kudos to all you novelists out there because that is an animal by itself. I don't know how you do it. So, I've been picking different people's brains. Shout out to Hugh O. Smith. He's an example. I don't know how he does it. He's able to put out all these books. It's amazing. But I'm always thinking that. I'm always trying to stay myself engaged. But then I have to come to reality. Zeus, you're at work. Got to concentrate at the task at hand. You still have to, keep that professionalism. You got a job to do. You got to do it. And again, I'm appreciative of it because it helps pay the bills, right? It allows me to, take care of our family and allows us to have some type of good things come out of it, go on trips, maybe get some things that we want. It's always a great feeling to like you could do for your kids. Like you could go get stuff for them and don't have to worry about like, I don't know, I don't want to pull from bill money. You know what I mean? To go ahead and do this or go on this trip. It's nice to do stuff for your kids. But at the same time, it's a struggle. And I'm just really speaking for myself. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of viewers that feel the same way, that it's tough being at the job where your heart is somewhere else. And sometimes the focus gets a little skewed because it's almost like your surroundings start changing. Like you ever seen that scene in a movie when they're walking towards something and next thing you know, everything around them starts changing. And it's like they're going through another dimension. That's how I feel sometimes. I'm like, I'm working or I'm doing something and even people catch me. Like Zeus, are you talking about this or you talking about something else? Because what you talking about ain't got nothing to do with what we got to do here. You know what I mean? So I got to catch myself because sometimes I kind of blend both of them together, and I'll be like, "Oh man, I'm not in the studio. I'm freaking here at the job." You know what I mean? So that's a tough break. But at the end of the day, you got to keep this level of professionalism. You have to stay focused. And it's not to say that at some point Olympian is not going to be my new day job. I have faith in it. I believe in Olympian. I believe in myself. I believe in my team. That's why I keep going. And just when I think I'm going to quit, it's always this one thing that happens where it gives me that reminder, Zeus, keep going. You know what I mean? Just need to be a little bit more patient. I think that's the biggest thing we can advocate for you guys out there who are similar in this situation. You have to have patience. If you know in yourself that you don't have it, then this is a tough racket for you to get into. I would suggest you don't get into it at all. So the two main things, Jay talked about it earlier in the segment, you got to have that passion. If you don't have no passion for anything, it's tough for you to be engaged into something, right? But then the other end of the spectrum is you got to have that patience. You're not going to get results tomorrow, end of the week, end of the month. Even these huge corporations took years before they got to where they got,
Yep.
to the success that they have right now. So please, guys, have the passion, but also have the patience. Don't don't feel like what you're doing is not enough.
Right.
Do what's within your power, but just keep working at it little by little by little. Like we were just talking about, there's no time limit to this stuff. There's people doing amazing things and they're 50, 60 years old and they're doing amazing things. I always use this example of Colonel Sanders with KFC. You know what I mean? Like he was actually 65 years of age before he got KFC up and running. So
Nice.
it's never too late for anybody to make something of themselves and to achieve your goals and fulfill your dreams. There's no time limit to that, man.
There
Just be
isn't.
patient and just keep working at it.
Right. And I've seen authors that rely heavily on AI so they can push out more books. And one, I will say that there are a lot of individuals in the book buying world that will not buy books that are only AI. But are you writing the book if you're having AI do most of it for you? You're not. You're gluing together someone else's work and trying to sell that. So I get the desire to get stuff out quick. I get the desire to use AI to help you with so many different things. It can be useful, and it can also turn off people from buying your books. It could turn off people from wanting to support you. And in this day and age, especially with the economy we have, people are losing their jobs. People don't have the spending money they used to. They're going to be very selective as where they spend that money. So just make sure that whatever it is that you want to do as your side hustle, hoping for it to be a full time hustle, that it is something that people are going to want to buy. It is something that is a work of art that is worth their money, their hard earned money, and that they're going to want to come back for. Because if I go to your bagel store and I buy a bagel and it's the crappiest bagel I've ever had, well, yes, you did get my money, but you're not getting my business again, right? So we want to make sure that whatever it is that you do, poetry, short stories, novels, children's books, whatever it is, put your passion into it if that's really what you want to do. And if you can't say that that's what you really want to do, then take the time to get to know yourself and find out what it is that you want to do and put your energy there, because every moment that you're putting into something is a moment you're taking away from something else. And that something else could be something that you really wanted to do.
All great points. Definitely appreciate it, Jay. And you were talking about a work of art. It's a lot of work of art behind you, and we got them right here as well. You know what I mean? I definitely envy you. I know you're in a different realm than me when it comes to with the children books, but definitely I appreciate them. I
Thank you.
think we
And they're
spoke a
in
lot
Spanish, let's
before.
not forget.
Let's not forget that. It's bilingual here. We
That's
got it,
right.
the best of both worlds here, Spanish and English, you know? But I think I had told you before that what I appreciate about them that yes, they're meant to be read to children, like they're children books. But it's written in such a way where I don't see how the adult can appreciate the books. And I think that's a very special talent. Because when I look at other children's books, like when I used to read to my kids when they were young, you can tell this a children's book. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily something that I would go ahead on my own to read. You know what I mean? It's almost like Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat type of thing going on here. But to read, like, it's amazing to me that you have that ability to write in a way where it's meant for this demographic, but in actuality, everybody can enjoy it. So I tip my hat off to you. That's something I learned from you as far as how I approach my writing and how I go about my next book, of just finding like that extra layer where I could be kind of innovative and kind of make it in a way where like really everybody can enjoy this, not just a certain demographic. So I appreciate that. Jay, I appreciate you being on the show today. You dropped a lot of jewels, gems. I hope your viewers had a notepad. She was talking about notepads. I hope you had notepads
I took
and
notes
wrote
while
a
we were
lot of this
talking.
down. See, she took notes. So I don't know how you guys out there didn't take no notes. To end this segment, Jay, can you let the viewers know what's going on with you? Like, is it something new? What are you working on? What's in the near future for Jay Logan?
So I think the first new book that's coming out will be for the cats, because everyone is upset that I have for the dogs and not for the cats. And it took a while
Okay. Okay.
because I have never had a cat. I'm a dog person, and I have never had a cat because my father is severely allergic, and then when I got married, my husband's severely allergic. So I've never had a
Okay.
cat. They're cute from afar. So I finally wrote it, but now it's in its timeout phase. So I have to just finish editing and then publish it. And for those that don't know, timeout phase is I've looked at this book enough. I cannot be honest about it anymore. I can no longer see the words as individuals anymore. I need to walk away from it, and that's the timeout phase when every author should do that. And then the book for the children's book for adults, or the picture book for adults, I'm hoping to have out by June. And that one I'm really excited about because it's going to be all funny things like that, but then a little bit of behind it, why that's important and how that makes a marriage successful. So, we'll see. Maybe it'll be big with the
Wow.
newlyweds or the bachelorettes or even for people who are married for a
Okay.
while and just want something different.
Well, when the book come out, you got to come back on the show so we could talk about it,
Of course.
and pick your brain on that. We're definitely looking forward for that. Definitely the Woodbridge event, Central Jersey Book Festival is still on. You're going to be there, right?
Yes. And next month, I will actually be at the Woodbridge Street Fair on May 16th and the Maplewood Street Fair on the next day on the 17th. So if you want to come out and meet me.
Awesome. So for you guys out there, if you're in the vicinity, come on, man, do yourself a favor. Stop by, say hello to Jay. I mean, you know, socialize. Stop acting like a hermit, like you've been living on a rock this whole time. Go out there, check her out. Definitely check out the books. Again, you could get them on Amazon, correct?
Correct. All my books are on Amazon.
I mean, check it out, man. I mean, come on now. These are fantastic books, great illustrations, great stories. Again, they're children books, but adults can appreciate them. And if you got children, that makes it even more of a plus, right? If you have dogs, you got a book perfect that you can read to your dogs. I mean, come on now. You're trying to figure out what you want to spend your money on. Well, spend your money on this, and you're not going to be disappointed. Support local authors, local entrepreneurs. Believe it or not, they make up a large market here in this country. So let's not forget about them either. Huh? So again, Jay, I appreciate you being on the show. It's always a blast for you to be on here.
Thank you.
And again, it's Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia presenting you balancing towards success. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll check you later.
Thank you, Zeus. I
Bye bye.
appreciate being here. Bye, everybody.